Okay, very quickly, if you're drawing ahead, let's do Wonder Woman since we talked about it. Again, just make sure that the neck is not too thick. Here's the egg, here's the neck, it's offset. This line, that's where the ear comes. Go from the ear to the eyes, down here to the nose, down here to the mouth. There you go. Star goes right here. Okay? Yes? How do we hire new writers? I would say that's a very tough thing to do because it's a lot easier to show someone your art samples and they can take a quick look at it and they can tell literally from one page of that if you have the chops to get professional work. With writing, you kind of have to read the whole story, right? You have to read like 20 pages of script to see if the writer set up a story that basically had a payoff, so it's a lot harder. I would actually suggest in this day and age, you don't need to wait to hear from DC to be validated, or any company to be validated as a writer. You can find creators online, you can find artists on DeviantArt.com, and you can start doing comic books on your own without a publisher and have them published online, and really kind of learn how to work with other people and learn how to collaborate. And if you do that enough, you will find a following, and if you have a following, people will hire you because they want to sell comic books. So that's what I would do. I broke in by basically doing a lot of sample pages and mailing them off to editors, and I got very few responses, but and that was very tedious. I mean, it was like $90 every time I would go to the Xerox store, make photocopies, and I'd have to make a set for every editor from every company I knew of, and I would mail them out, and basically have to wait weeks to get a reply, if I had a reply at all. Now you can just email people, so you have incredible ease of access, but the problem is everyone has that same ease of access, so in a way they're less likely to look at it. So I wouldn't wait to hear back from the big companies. If you want to be a writer, start writing, and if you have good writing, people will want to work with you. And if people want to work with you, you'll produce great stuff, and you'll eventually get hired or be given assignments of things that you want to do. Right? Sure. Oh yeah, sure. I don't look back on a lot of stuff. I actually look back on a lot of my work here at conventions when people bring it up for me to sign it. I don't have a lot of that stuff available. And it's like, if you guys keep pictures of yourself from like the 90s or 80s, depending on how old you are, you look back on those and you go like, oh, what was I thinking in terms of what I was wearing, or that's very much what I kind of experience when I see the artwork from that era. And even things I thought I really did well, or kind of nailed poses, you look at it now and go like, oh boy, that head looks really small, or that cross-hatching is just way too over the top. So it's always, you're always going to have that kind of nostalgic look. If you look back on anything, any photo of yourself, you're just going to go like this. You're going to see like how your tastes have changed and how your aesthetic has changed because of that. So. I'm trying to make lemon with lemonades here. This brush is really not helping me out, so I'm trying to kind of just draw the shadows in, as opposed to
the Superman movie follow your design of Superman, or did you design it after
I have the design of the costume, like the one that was part of the New 52 before they started production on Superman. I don't know if they were influenced by it. I haven't asked Zack Snyder that directly, but I know that he was looking at a lot of the comic book work, and he's specifically called out the work I did. Although the work I did was on For Tomorrow, and that didn't have the new costume. He is a fan of comic books, and I think he is inspired by the stuff that's produced in comics. So it wouldn't surprise me, but that design predated the New 52 by at least a year, I think. You know, even like the Flash TV show, I thought they were somewhat influenced by the New 52 design a bit. So, you know, I think they take from it what they need. You know, whenever you're going into a new medium, whether it's whether you're going into film or TV, some things are going to look good on a comic book page, but might not look good in real life. Oh, the phone. Sorry. Okay. All right. There you go.
I figured she was less of a distraction.
Right. No, okay. If it was someone older, I would have been like, okay, security. Maybe she just wanted it. A horsey ride or something. Anyway. Okay, so. You have a question? Could someone closer repeat that? Amplify. Oh, what made me become a comic book artist? You know what? I just really loved comic books from when I was just a little kid. There wasn't a lot of, if you were into fantasy or adventure or science fiction, there wasn't Star Wars, there wasn't all these cartoon shows, there was nothing really. It was like a lot of movies with giant insects, you know, Frankenstein, that kind of stuff. And I just loved these incredible stories, and in the world of comic books, you could do these amazing cosmic battles, or characters that could fly and, you know, melt walls with their eyes, and all these really cool things that you could not find on TV or film. And so I just like that, and so when you have a lot of downtime and you're trying to create cool stories, the best way to do that was to sit around and kind of draw them. And so that's what I did. You know, I just drew a lot as a kid, and I really looked at comic books, I think the same way people today look at, you know, the big summer tentpole movies for inspiration. You know, but literally my friends and I would go to church, and then after, you know, service or whatever, we'd go to one of the classrooms and just sit around and make up our own stories. Write the roster of the X-Men, the Avengers, and who would fight who, and how the fights would, you know, go, and start drawing some of that stuff. And it was just, you know, we didn't have video games to distract us, so that was what we did instead.
How many hours you dedicate every day to drawing?
How many hours a day do I dedicate to drawing?
Yeah, right now and before when you first started.
So this week I dedicated 0 drawing to drawing, and you're seeing the payoff of that dedication. It's a little bit of a struggle today, but normally I will. Depends on the day, but as co-publisher, I'll go up to Burbank from San Diego. I wake up at 5 in the morning. I'm on the 6:45 train. I get in the office at 9:30, and I'm in the office from 9:30 to 4 o'clock, and that's just all business stuff. It's like meetings about marketing plans, you know, what storylines we're going to run, what kind of paper, who's going to publish our books, all that kind of stuff. And then I get home around 8 o'clock, and I'll have dinner with the family, and I'll just hang out for a while. And then usually around 10:30 or 11, I'll draw until about 3. So I'll draw until like 3 in the morning, you know. So like 5 hours to 8 hours a day, you know. The days I go up to Burbank makes it a little bit harder. My influences as a kid would be all the real popular ones. I bought my comic books at like 7-Eleven. I didn't go to a comic book shop because I didn't know where one existed because there was no Google Maps at the time. So, you know, like George Perez, Frank Miller, John Byrne, that kind of thing. My favorite character as a kid, I was a real, you know, I loved Superman and Batman when I was like 8 or 9, but then when I became a teenager, I was just really into the X-Men and some of the Marvel stuff. So those were probably my favorite at the time. And so when I got into comics, I really wanted to work at Marvel and then work on the X-Men just because that was really kind of like my dream aspiration or whatever. But the favorite you draw, I would say, it really depends. You know, when you draw too much of one thing, it just gets very boring. But I would say that Batman is a lot of fun to draw. But I like drawing Batman with a character like Nightwing or Robin next to him because what it basically does is it gives you an incredible contrast. So you're not just drawing one type of note. You're not just drawing a dark, somber, hulking character all the time. You're drawing like a dark character like Batman, but you get to draw this kind of lighthearted Robin character next to him. And so that's kind of fun having that contrast. So you're not just exercising one muscle constantly.